Let's start at number 5, John, for the Jacksonville Jaguars' top 5 needs in the offseason. What do you have at number 5?
Probably running back depth, but it's not really, they need to play better their depth. I don't know if it's actually a need that they need to go get, if that makes any sense. So I'm not sure they're going to make big changes, but like Tank Bigsby needs to come along, play more and better than he did last season. They need to get more out of their depth.
That makes sense. No question, because that's one thing I noticed. Etienne only 3.8 a carry. Bigsby only 2.6 a carry. Johnson's a free agent. So whether you want to say, I think what you're saying is not necessarily do they need to add more talent. They just got to get more production out of the running back.
Yeah, and I think they will. Tank going into his second year, I think they'll get more out of that. Number 4 would probably be, again, defensive tackle, interior depth, or I'm not sure if they're going to replace Foley Fatukasi yet, a free agent from 2 years ago. It remains to be seen what they're going to do there. If they don't add, they need to be better in that spot. Sometimes contracts keep you from adding very much, but I'd say defensive tackle is an area that they have to get better at.
Okay. Then let's pop on over quickly to offseason need number 3.
Secondary, I'd say they need at the corner position. It's sort of the same story. It's hard to know exactly how they're going to do because they have some guys who are solid but didn't play great at times. So I would say corner, they're not going to replace, I don't think, Tyson Campbell or Darius Williams, but they need to be better at probably at the nickel. And then they need to look at long term because those guys are entering the final year of their contract. So do they draft a guy first or second round thinking that they'll eventually replace one of those guys on the outside? That would be a need. And Tyson Campbell was hurt a lot, so they need him to be healthy and play better. They thought he would be a strength. He wasn't healthy enough to be a strength. A wide receiver, they need to figure out, meaning is Zay Jones coming back? He's in the last year. He's going to the last year of his deal. Are they going to bring Calvin Ridley back? If one or both of those guys aren't back, then all of a sudden that's a huge need. They haven't really determined that yet. If they're both back, then I don't know if it's a big need. So I think it's a big area to watch, and I'm not sure how that's going to play out yet. So it's a little hard to answer that. I would put there, if they're gone, it all of a sudden becomes maybe the biggest need. So I think we got to wait to play that out. Number 1 with a bullet, they have to be better on the interior of their offensive line. And I don't know, I'm assuming Sheriff is gone. We don't yet know what they're going to do with Ezra Cleveland, who's a free agent. They acquired him at the trade deadline. He's a free agent. Do they re-sign him? Do they move forward with Luke Fortner, who struggled at times last year? If they don't, all these guys I mentioned could conceivably be back because Sheriff's under contract, or it could be a mammoth change. I would anticipate big change on the interior. If they were more stout on the interior last year, they're probably an 11 or 12 win team. So it was a huge difference. They could not run when they needed to. They had some. They were. I forget the exact stat, but they had more, or they were second in runs for a yard or less or loss, and they just couldn't function well enough in third and short, second and short when they needed to run. They've got to get better there. And I don't know what the change will look like, but it's going to be the number 1 storyline of the offseason for this team.